Joining us tonight to take that up, Tom Fitton, the president of Judicial Watch. His new book is A Republic Under Assault, the left's ongoing attack on American freedom. It's available for pre-order. And we are delighted to have you with us, Tom. I mean, I'm not sure what to make of the rejection of pre-orders and how big a deal it is. I do know one thing, that is the mail-in ballot campaign being carried out by the Democratic Party isn't just for the hell of it. They must find some advantage in it. Your thoughts and what is being done, and is it enough that's being done to stop it?
Well, there are two issues. You got voter fraud potential when you flood the mails with millions of ballots, many of which will go to people who have moved away or are dead. And then you've got the second issue, which is highlighted by your story, that if you want your vote to count, the best way to do so is to go and vote in person. Because relying on the Postal Service to make sure your ballot gets to where it's supposed to be and is actually counted, as is now been documented at least by NPR, is risky. Do we want 1% of our nation's vote to be thrown out on Election Day? This is why we need to be encouraging people to vote in person, and we need to be dissuading people from using the mails to vote unless there's an emergency.
Yeah. This is all fine for a nice debate in the arena, but the Democrats aren't engaging in a debate. They are ramming this down the throats of the American people, and the Republicans are, as usual, are being somewhat bovine and docile about it all, and just simply letting it go by. So it appears. Tell me it's not so.
Well, the good news is some of the courts are stepping in, and they're preventing, at least the Supreme Court is preventing these leftists from using the courts to change the voting laws. It's getting now too late in the game, potentially, for the states to change the laws themselves. I mean, in California, for instance, they were prepared to mail, Newsom was on his own, ballots to millions of people who weren't there and had died. And Judicial Watch sued, and actually the RNC also sued. And California actually stepped in and changed the law, so they're going to still send out millions of ballots, but they're at least going to try to restrict them from being mailed to dead people. But there's a significant risk of that happening anyway, which is the crisis.
Well, you know, it's a great country, isn't it? When you have to say, you know, we're no longer letting dead people vote. I mean, that's a boffo kind of piece of progress.
Well, you know, look, in North Carolina,
Lindsey Graham, since we're let's move on to Lindsey Graham, because he is so much more important as the chairman of the Judiciary Committee and is doing such great things to reveal who the originators of the Spygate and Obamagate are. Now he's going to bring, he says, like he says so many things, he's going to bring Mueller in to testify, who just lied in an op-ed, for crying out loud. What do you make of where we are with Mr. Graham and his, that juggernaut of a Judiciary Committee he's leading toward truth?
I want to know what his plan is. I mean, when you say you're going to bring in a witness because they wrote an op-ed, it suggests you're just, seeing what works politically. I would advise Senator Lindsey Graham, if he wants to have an impact, invite Mr. President Obama to testify. Invite Vice President Biden to testify. Invite Hillary Clinton to testify. We have new documents coming out just this week.
Well, he dismissed those, Tom.
Well, that's what he needs to do.
Folks.
If he were serious, he'd bring in the leadership of the Obama administration and ask them what they knew and what they knew and when, and why did they direct innocent people be harassed by the Comey FBI.
The Comey FBI, the Chris Wray FBI, the McCabe FBI, it all looks pretty much the same in terms of what the public's right to know receives at their hands, doesn't it?
That's right. We were just told by the FBI there are 8,000 pages of records between Page and Strzok. They don't want to release them entirely until next year. And if they had given them to us when we asked 3 years ago, we would have known about Flynn's innocence back in 2017 and 18. But this FBI under Wray has protected that whole gang over there by slow rolling the release of information they knew would be devastating to the Spygate theorizing, the Spygate abuses they used to target Trump with.
And Andrew Weissman wants, oh my gosh, he wants Roger Stone hauled before the grand jury in New York. I mean, what kind of nasty piece of business is this guy?
Well, the fact that he was number 2 or 3, whoever you want to call it, at the Mueller operation tells you everything you want to know. That he would haul in an American citizen to have a grand jury just ask him questions that he's curious about is absurd. We've got documents showing, for instance, he worked with the AP to target Manafort. You had the AP colluding with the Justice Department. He was a fan of Hillary Clinton. He was supporting Sally Yates as she was trying to upend the rule of law by subverting the president's travel ban. Outrageous that he's still taken seriously in this issue.
Well, it's just breathtaking to see what the left-wing media does with this and just recycle it and take it to the barricades and then fire off broadsides at the public. Amazing. Tom Fitton, thank you for being here as always. We appreciate it. Judicial Watch.